Man, Karrion Kross fans, we got some unfortunate news. What's up, everybody? Fred Richani, TSC, with a quick wrestling news update. Just one night after WWE brought back an accused, alleged Schmex trafficker, we get the news today, or tonight, via Fightful.com, that Karrion Kross's contract, along with his wife and valet Scarlett Bordeaux, their contracts are set to expire by the end of the week. You may recall that Fightful reported that Karrion Kross's contract was coming due in August. At the moment, of course, it is August 2025. And believe it or not, despite the fact that we've had We Want Kross trending, despite the fact that he's been getting great reactions on Main Event, on Raw, at SummerSlam, despite the fact that this guy has gotten himself over organically, even though some people say it's a psyop, I think it's organically. And despite the fact that they just put him on SummerSlam, and he had a solid match with Sami Zayn, and I believe they promoted his book, his contract is apparently not getting renewed. Now, things could change. Obviously, we've seen what happened with R-Truth, Ron Killings, where they cut him. I mean, more or less, they released him. They said, like, okay, your contract's expiring, but they didn't want to bring him back. He got ahead of it, and he was brought back. Now, they could bring Karrion Kross back. Does that mean they'll actually do something with him? I don't know about that. That's been the case with WWE, right? They sign these guys, and then they put them, or they re-sign them, and then they put them in these really creatively lazy situations. Like Ron Killing seemed really intriguing, and then, yeah, Aleister Black feud, and even the acts that have been on the main roster for a while, like Mello. Like, what happened to Mello and The Miz? Nothing. So anyway, Karrion Kross, rumored to be leaving WWE. I personally have no inside information. Full disclosure, though, we did do a great interview with Karrion Kross, if I do say so myself, a few months back. He was a fantastic guest. Really nice, very down to earth. We chatted afterwards when we went off the air about 1995 and film. He is a big film buff. He's a guy who just had a short film that he helped produce and starred in by the name of Blue Evening, which talks about addiction. Very powerful short film. It's been making the festival circuit, so he's doing all right. He has a book coming out. I'm sure plenty of fans will pick it up if they haven't already. Actually, I think the book already might be out. So he's got some logs on the fire, and obviously he can go to TNA. He can go to AAA. Ironically enough, both companies have a relationship and or are owned by WWE. It is a little insidious to me to think, though, that if he goes to TNA or if he goes to AAA, it's like, okay, they'll hire him and they'll hire, folks like Dana Brooke and Mustafa Ali and all these other people. But granted, they're probably getting a fraction of what they got in WWE. And that kind of just makes me wonder. Like, are they deliberately releasing people, letting them go to the quote-unquote competition that's not really competition, that they have a partnership with, just so they can underpay them? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if TNA is getting a lot of money from WWE right now. Obviously, AAA is practically acquired by WWE. And yeah, what can you say? It's a little insidious to me. I mean, no surprise. They could have signed the Hardys, but they showed them in the crowd. They're part of TNA. Why pay them when TNA will just pay them a fraction, right? So yeah, same with Nick Nemeth, aka Dolph Ziggler, and all that jazz. Anyway, if it is the case that Karrion and Scarlett are no longer going to be a part of WWE, it is unfortunate because I really do think the guys worked hard and built a cult following. And yeah, I know some people will say, look, he's not great in the ring and this and that and blah, blah. And look, however you feel about his in-ring work, at the end of the day, like, you want guys like Karrion Kross who are good with the media, who have gone out of the way to work their own angles, work on their promos, get better in the ring. He may not be your cup of tea, and that's fine. But even if you don't think he's a top guy or belongs in the title picture or anything else, I just don't understand how you have a guy like that who's dedicated, who's put in the work, who's obviously got a great cachet with the fans. I don't know how you have a guy like that on your roster and want to get rid of him. And by extension, of course, Scarlett, who's also very talented in her own right. That I don't get. And Scarlett does a great job, too, in her own right with YouTube and everything else. And she does the horror stuff with Shotzi on the side. And yeah, I don't know why you'd want to get rid of people that could be creative like that. Even if you don't have a spot for them regularly on TV. Like you could put them on main event. They could work with younger talent. You could put them in NXT. Maybe you could send them to AAA or TNA for a little while, but hey, maybe they'll unofficially do that by letting them go, which I feel like is just, again, a little shady in my humble opinion. Obviously, this pales in comparison to them, again, bringing back a accused schmex trafficker in Brock Lesnar, which is just disgusting. And if you don't find it disgusting, then I'm sorry, y'all. You're on the wrong YouTube channel and podcast here. So we shall see. We shall see what happens. Personally, I'd like to see Karrion. His real name's Kevin. Personally, I'd like to see Kevin do some more film work. I thought he did a damn good job with the Blue Evening, and obviously he's gotten really good at promos and at times great at promo. Honestly, he's been great at promos online over the last several years. So I'd love to see him get into more film and everything else, and maybe a less physical version of entertainment. You know what I mean? But I still think he's got a lot to give and everything else. Now, as far as AEW, I don't know. I feel like he's too much. He's considered too much of a WWE guy. But look, stranger things have happened, right? We've seen guys go to different promotions and reinvent themselves and everything else, and I'm sure he could do that. Whether or not AEW would be interested, I don't know. I think right now they're in the process of trying to cultivate, their own talent, and at the same time signing some international talent rather than, getting somebody straight from WWE. I would be pleasantly surprised. It would be nice if if Scarlett and him got a shot. Obviously, they have friends in the business and everything, but if I had a guess, for the time being, I could see him, even though it was not the best split, I could definitely see Karrion Kross going back to TNA. I mean, look, Don Callis isn't there. Scott D'Amore isn't there. So I could see that. I could see MLW and everything. Again, it would pleasantly surprise me if it was AEW or Ring of Honor. Maybe New Japan. Hey, listen, New Japan needs some guys, so why not? And hey, maybe that could be a forbidden door into AEW and ROH for him. We'll see. But anyway, I want to hear from you guys. What do you think about Karrion Kross and Scarlett possibly being let go by WWE? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Where would you like to see him end up? Let me know. Leave a comment below. If you enjoyed this update, like, share. Don't forget to subscribe and turn notifications for more updates like this. And please check out my interview with Karrion Kross. It was pretty damn good, if I do say so myself. And we talked for over a half hour. He was very, very gracious with his time. So please check that out. We also have done interviews recently with B-Fab, Caden Carter, a.k.a. Lacey Lane, Casey Catanzaro, a.k.a. Katana Chance, the phenomenal AJ Styles, Cody Rhodes, The Big Show, Paul White, Thunder Rosa, Dave Meltzer, Jim Ross, AEW's Alex Marvez. The list goes on. Mikey Ruckus of AEW Music, Booker T. All these interviews and much more are on the channel, and we'll be uploading more classic clips because we've been doing this for about 15 freaking years, folks. Almost practically 16 years at this point. So check it out. Best wishes to Karrion Kross and Scarlett Bordeaux. And until next time, everybody, as always, enjoy the matches. Tick tock.